there, Charlene back from Radical Feng Shui with Charlene, and I'm on to another part of the Sacred Space series, and this time we're going out into the macrocosm again, and I'm talking to you a bit about geomancy. Now, I've talked in other videos on my channel. You can go back and look through those to get more information, but I'm talking about geomancy in the sense of sacred space. Now, those of you that don't know anything about ley lines, they're energy lines on the planet, and you can look those up, very interesting. But a simple ley line are the ones that we create ourselves, and that can be from our front door, down the stairs, to the driveway and into the car, and it's something that we may create every day. So if somebody puts something in the pathway, like if a child leaves a toy and we trip over it, it's an interruption of our own personal ley line. So that's like a very microcosmic look at a ley line, but they exist all over the planet, and some of them are created by animals, like the animal lines through the forests. There's the singing lines in Australia that the Aboriginals go on walkabouts and they go along the singing lines. They are picking up on the energy of their ancestors from hundreds of years that walked the same path. Now, one of the most fascinating things that I learned about ley lines is there's some famous ley lines in Britain, and they were traveled by the Druids and prehistoric whoever was there created these pathways on British soil, or the British Isles, if you want to call that Scotland. And later, these certain power spots, they built cathedrals on these. So it went from like being more, earthy, pagan, if you want to call that, to be creating churches on these ley lines. And even in the churches, they created the beautiful stained glass that on June 21st in the spring, it would shine through a certain stained glass and light up a spot on the floor that was a sacred spot. So these are happening, I'm sure, all over the world. I just happen to know that. And when I was studying Feng Shui, and especially geomancy with my geomantic clearing masters, I learned these things that they fascinated me. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, because there's so many places we go that we can feel really either good, like supercharged, or we feel really like, what's happened here? We might find that we were walking near a place where there was a lot of people died of a pandemic. I'm referring back to things that happened years ago with diseases on the planet, or wars. If we're walking over an area where there was war, I'm sure that's places in the eastern Canada, US, especially during the Civil War, there are locations where we feel quite heavy. So in terms of sacred space, it's about recognizing why we feel what we do, what comes up through the ground. Geomancy is the study of underground energy. So sometimes it's a power spot, it's a birthing spot by First Nations, or it's a celebratory spot, a place like Stonehenge, the Grand Canyon. There's so many beautiful places on the planet that people go to and reverence, like the Taj Mahal, or climbing mountaintops like Everest. It's a quest in a way. It brings us to a certain perspective of our lives that's different from normal. And that's what I'm saying about geomancy, and how other cultures celebrate that. Now, if you looked at my visual vignette about what is sacred space, I included some sacred dance from Bali that was filmed, I guess maybe 7 or 8 years ago now, where I was party to this master dancer. This was a young man dancing and just demonstrating for us the power of the dance and how sacred that can be. And then in the next little vignette, you see this big production, that there's this big effigy, and is it in, the old stories that are told? But the same man who did the first dance created that dance as well. So there's so many ways of looking at how people honor sacred space, whether it's in dance or whether it's visual. Places like Bali that have beautiful little spirit houses, the temples in Bali. I studied Thai massage at Wat Po, and it's the temple with the lying Buddha. There's also First Nations sacred spaces and spirit houses as well. Like, do we know that? Do we know it is inherent in North America or areas that we live in on the planet? Latin America, Chichen Itza, one of the places that I found really whoa because of the depth that's it's felt there. The intensity of what the Aztecs created in some of these temples is really powerful. The cenotes in the Yucatan, places like Tulum, these beautiful temples by the sea that have all that wind, water, the breeze and the wind and the water, just like making it more sacred and elevated. So the macrocosm is always knowing where those places are. If it's in nature for you, if it's somewhere in your home you want to create it, there's a really powerful and wide perspective on what we can call sacred space. And that's my little blurb on geomancy. And I will get into the geomancy of the body. Thank you for being here with me, subscribing, leaving comments. Have a great day. Bye-bye.